Dear students, today I am going to discuss on the topic Typo technological and functional identification of the tools belonging to the lower Paleolithic cultural phase. Let me first give you the introductory part. Typo technology primarily indicates the study of the types of the tool, that is typology, and the study of the different but associated tool making techniques known as technology. In this present module, we should discuss on the typology and technology of the tools belonging to the lower Paleolithic cultural phase along with its functional classification. In our previous theory classes, we have already discussed on the different types of tools belonging to different Stone Age cultural stages along with their manufacturing techniques. Here our main focus is on the typology, technology and functional classification of the tools of lower Paleolithic cultural stage only. Now let's come to the next point, typo technology, that is about the typology of the tool and techniques of the tool. As stated above, it is the study of different types of tools. It has an intimate relationship with the mapping of prehistoric lithic artifacts. Therefore, both typology and technology in turn depend, though to a lesser degree, on the type of raw material or rock type available to a given community of prehistoric time. For example, a heavy-duty tool, chopper or chopping, could not be manufactured by punching or fluting technique. Similarly, these techniques could not possibly be applied to hard and coarse-grained rock like quartzite. Thus, it is logical to expect an assemblage or industries of more or less similar kind of tools in archaeological salvages from a given place or site, and different typologies would characterize different environments and needs. The study of typologies of different prehistoric tools is mainly aimed at establishing the different tool making techniques practiced by prehistoric people at different regions or areas in the initial stage of their cultural development. The typological study helps us to identify the diffusion, contact, and migration of different traditions of prehistoric cultures. It should in no way mean that all the tools found from all over the world have to conform to any of these defined typologies. It is mainly because of the fact that prehistoric men named the lithic tools according to their plan and necessities, without having anything to do with our attempt of defining some common kinds. As a consequence of it, there are many stylistic variations noted within a typology, and as a rule, they are described on the basis of their specific peculiarities. To justify it, let us see an example of it. Say the term index stands for a defined typology, but within this typology there are many stylistic variations like pyriform index, coded index or codiform or heart-shaped index, Mycokian index, etc. Before we start with the definitions of the various typologies, it is important to note that many cultures with characteristic tools have, in course of time, developed almost typological meaning like the Abelian hand axe or Acheulean hand axe, etc. Such terms are not unusual to come across such expression in the archaeological literature in India. It would, therefore, be worthwhile to describe here these typologies and their meaning. The following are the typologies commonly met with in the lower Paleolithic cultural phases. Pebble tools. These tools are generally quite big and massive. They are generally made on suitable river pebble by flaking off some chips. Starting with an elongated pebble, the edge of one surface is sharpened by striking it against another stationary large stone. This tool making technique is known as block on block or anvil technique. The rest of the surface is not worked upon, hence represented by the original pebble surface. Such type of pebble tool is called chopper. In some cases, flakes are removed from both the surfaces, but from one of the ends of the pebble. This type of bifacial tool is known as chopping tool. It is prepared by direct percussion. Both these chopper and chopping tools possess broad working ends. Such types of pebble tools are first found from Olduvai gourds in Africa. Hence, these artifacts are referred to as Olduvai tools. Let's see an example. This is the flake scar on the dorsal surface, and this is the profile line, and this is the ventral surface. This is the cortex region. This part is also cortex region, and this is an unifacial tool, hence it is called a chopper. Whereas in case of the chopping tool, we will find the dorsal, this profile, and then this will be the ventral. Both sides is working. Both chopper and chopping tools are pebble tools because both of them are prepared out of these pebbles, and in this case only one side is working, in this case both sides is working, and it is produced by block on block technique, whereas it is produced by direct percussion or stone hammer technique. Now come to the next point, rostocarinate. It is also a kind of pebble tool in which the original pebble surface or the cortex region is retained on a part of its back side as well as partly on its lateral side, that means the longer side, but a larger flake has been removed from its underside, while the upper is partly flake and has a ridge or keel. Hence, this tool has a beak-like appearance if looked from top or front. It is prepared by stone hammer technique. The next tool type is proto-hand axe. It is another variety of rostocarinate. In this type of lithic tool, one surface, either dorsal or ventral of the artifact, as a rule, is found not worked upon, while a few flakes are knocked off the other side to give it a cutting edge. Secondary working or retouching is rarely seen. Tool making technique is either direct percussion or Clactonian technique. Next tool type is hand axe. It is a bifacial chord tool having usually a biconvex profile view. It has always a thick and heavy butt end, while the working end tapers or slopes down to form a more or less pointed and sharp-edged working tip. Various handexes are produced by using different techniques. In most cases, a handex possesses some areas of original pebble surfaces, except in the case of ovate, cordiform, and triangular types. According to their shape and nature of the manufacturing technique, there are various types of handexes. Some of the common types of handex are listed below. Now let's come to pear-shaped handex or pyriform. This type of handex has a thick, flake or unflaked pebble butt, and the other end is made gently tapering sides which meet at a thick but somewhat rounded point. It resembles the shape of the fruit pear, which grows in the region of temperate climate, hence the name pear-shaped handex is given. The cross-section of this type of handex varies from specimen to specimen, but an ideal type of it will be diamond-shaped at the pointed end or working tip and roundish at the butt end. This handex type is produced by employing direct percussion technique. Now let's come to the another type of tool, that is ovate or ovoid handex. As the name suggests, it is an oval shaped handex. It is more advanced than the pyriform type of handex. The working end and the lateral borders continue to form of a ridge across the butt end. Retouching or secondary working is done all over the border, forming a regular and all-round working tip. The cross-section is comparatively thin and symmetrical. The profile line is also thin and biconvex. This handex variety is made by Laval-1 technique. Now let's come to the next subtype of handex, that is lanceolate or almond-shaped handex. This type of handex has fairly long tapering sides ending in a point. The working tip is flat and the weight is less as in the lance head. It is one of the symmetrical and well-finished varieties of handex. It is manufactured by using Laval-1 technique. Now come to another subtype, triangular handex. It is also one of the advanced tools. As the name suggests, it is the type of the handex having three sides. These three sides meet as in a triangle, that is forming three angles, two at its base or butt end, and the third one is at its working tip. In most cases, the packing surfaces are flat. The cross-section also somewhat triangular in shape. The manufacturing technique of such kind of tool is Laval-1. Now come to the next subtype of handex, that is cordate or cordiform or heart-shaped handex. As the name connotes, it resembles the shape of the heart. It is fairly symmetrical, broad and thin tool. It has a rounded butt but somewhat curved butt end. The two lateral sides also gently incurve to meet at the working tip. The cross-section is lenticular or symmetrical biconvex. Laval-1 technique is employed for shaping this tool. Now come to the next subtype, that is Abelian handex. As stated above, some cultural tool types can be classified under a broad defined typological category. The Abelian type handex refers to one of such categories which usually have a massive structure. It is crudely made with minimum flaking. It is a bifacial tool but rarely symmetrical in shape. It bears the marks of layers and deep flakings. Retouching or secondary working is hardly seen. The amphibian hanex come from bivile sites from Somme Valley in France. Such type of tool is prepared by using stone hammer technique. Now come to the Acheulean hanex style. This hanex is a typical variety. This typological classification is made on the type of the tool of a particular industry. It comes from Saint-Acheule's site in France. Such hanex type is shorter and neater than the amphibian hanex and strikingly symmetrical in shape. Cylinder hammer technique is used in shaping and finishing the tool. It is evidenced by the regular, elongated, shallow, slender, and somewhat parallel flexures remain in the tool. Now let's come to the next hanex type, that is the Mycokian hanex. It is named after the type site La Mycoque in France. It is a small triangular hanex with elongated working tip. It has a thick and heavy butt end. In shape, it may be symmetrical and well-shaped or irregular. Stratigraphically, the Mycokian hanex tradition succeeds the Acheulean. Tool making technique is direct percussion. Now let's come to the last tool type, that is the cleaver. This is another important tool of Lower Paleolithic period. As the name signifies, the tool must have been used for cleaning or cutting or cleaving purposes. In this sense, it is a distant prototype of our present-day iron axe with a broad cutting edge. It is essentially made on a broad rectangular or convex side flake or end flake. Rarely, some specimens are made of a core with a pebble butt or a thick flake with similar features. Generally, the ventral surface is represented by primary flexures. The dorsal may be retained the cortex or pebble surface. The two longitudinal sides are comparatively thick and trim, possibly to facilitate hafting. The cutting edge is formed by the intersection of two main flexures from both the surfaces. According to the shape of the butt end and the form of the cleaving edge and the nature of the cross section, cleavers are further subdivided into four characteristic types. They are V-shaped cleaver, U-shaped cleaver, quadrangular type cleaver, and trim or flaring sides cleaver. The Levallois is the main tool making technique for producing these different cleavers. Now come to the next point, that is the function of the various tool types of the Lower Paleolithic period. The main function of the Lower Paleolithic tools are described below along with the tool type. Number 1. Pebble tools, chopper and chopping. As the name signifies, both of them are used for chopping and cutting purposes because these tools possess broad cutting edges. Now come to Rostock clarinet. It is a pebble tool. Its function remains the same as those of the chopper and chopping tools. In addition, it is also used for scraping and digging purposes. Now come to proto-hand axe. It is another variety of rostocarinate. Hence, its function is also similar to that of rostocarinate cited above. Now let us come to the next tool type, that is hand axe. Though it has a number of subtypes, all are used for multiple functions like cutting, digging, smashing, tearing, dressing, grinding, boring, scraping, crushing, hurling, etc. Hence, a hand axe is also known as coup de poing or multi-purpose tool. The next tool type is cleaver. Primarily, cleavers are used for cleaving and chopping purposes. It is also used for cutting the trunks of the trees and animal bones. Now let's come to the concluding part of this topic. During the lower Paleolithic cultural phases, there are 5 main tool types so far recovered and reported. They are classified on the basis of their typology. They are pebble tools, rostocarinate, proto-hand axe, and cleaver. Pebble tool includes chopper and chopping tools. The hand axe has 8 subtypes, including the pick type, whereas the cleaver has 4 subtypes. These lower Paleolithic tools are mainly produced by using anvil technique or block-on-block technique, direct percussion or stone hammer technique, cylinder hammer technique, Clactonian technique, and Levallois technique. All these lower Paleolithic heavy tools have multiple functions. Of them, mention may be made of chopping, cutting, digging, grinding, scraping, cleaving, hurling, and boring. Thank you all for patient hearing.